Those new uniforms definitely did the trick in the last game. Let's see if that luck will continue and carry over to this game. I'm going up against a guy, it looks like an all-bronze bench save DeMarcus Cousins, but he's also got some bigs. He's got Tim Duncan and Chris Bosh. And one thing about Chris Bosh that you may not know is that his mid-range shot is a 90. I mean, that's incredible. That's like Mitch Richmond good almost. That's it's probably better than anybody else on my team other than Mitch Richmond. So I think that's kind of unrealistic. I haven't checked out his hot zones. I don't know what they are. But another guy that's got an amazing mid-range game is Tim Duncan. So that's something I've got to be on the lookout for this game. Now, I don't know a lot of people that are going to use their bigs that way, but there's a potential. And if they do, I've got to be prepared to stop those mid-range shots from guys that are much taller. And he gets a wide-open fast break. And this must be the first dunk that he's ever pulled off in my team mode, because he's going to go to the replay. Don't know why. I understand why people want to do replays. I used to do it myself. Last year there was a glitch where if you went to the replay mode, somebody else could dashboard out, and then you get a loss. I don't know why people do it. So after that instance last year, it kind of turned me off to the whole replay thing. It was pretty cool. A lot of people, they don't even know the controls for the replay. So they'll go to the replay mode and then try and show you this awesome replay, but because the controls, in my opinion, are kind of wacky for the replay camera movements and zoom in and zoom out for 2K, the replays kind of stink, and you'll get replays of, like, backs of people's heads, and they can't show you what they're trying to show you, which is just frustrating. So I don't really go to the replay. I just have a video recorder, and I bring you the videos, and you get to see the gameplay as if you were part of it. One of the subjects I wanted to discuss in this video is the importance of having role players. Everybody knows that you've got your starting lineup, and many people have different styles of offense, defense, how they want to play it, but you got to talk and think about your bench, and it's got to be something that makes sense. You've got to have guys that can come in at specific points of the game and make a difference. Now, most people are going to think about role players as strictly defensive-minded guys. Last year there was a guy named Tom Satch Sanders. He was good on-ball defense, good low-post defense, a great all-around player, and you could put him at any position and he'd come in and guard and shut down somebody at the end of the game. And that's what I used him for, and a lot of other people used him as well. So if you're putting together a bench and you want to have somebody that can come in off the bench and do really well defensively, maybe that's a guy you want to put in there late in the game for those special situations. So it doesn't have to be Tom Sanders. It could be somebody that plays defense well, maybe in another position. Like, I could have Dwight Howard come off the bench, and I do, although I use him a little bit more than just a role player, to play strictly defense because he's really good at it. It could also be, a bronze player. It doesn't have to be a gold or silver legend. It could be somebody that just specializes at one thing. So let's talk about the other types of role players. How about a rebounder? Sometimes you want to get a guy on the court that can get rebounds with a high rate of success. So when I think of the rebounders that maybe aren't more commonly used and who are lower value, I think of Charles Oakley. I believe he's got 99 rebound on both sides of the ball. And then Dennis Rodman, who's a silver this year and also very athletic. So with those guys coming off the bench, if you have a situation where you need to get boards with a high rate of success, that's somebody you can put in. And when you go up against a lot of three-point shooting teams and the ball starts flying well past the restricted area for those rebounds, you need athletic players who are going to be able to go snatch those boards down. So that's why I think having a rebounder might make sense on your bench as a role player. Another one is an athletic kind of guy. If you're a team that has a bunch of shooters and you want to mix it up, sometimes having a guy that's really fast, like Norris Cole or somebody like that, that's a good bronze player who's extremely fast and can go out there in a fast break. And he can also create problems on defense just because he's so quick. Having a player out there who may not be in your starting lineup who's much faster than people in your starting lineup is a good change of pace. And that's a role player you might want to use. And then lastly, and this is one I used from time to time last year, but I think a lot of people take this one for granted, and that's the free throw shooter. So you want to have a guy that can come in late in the game if you know it's going to turn into a free throw shooting contest. People are trading fouls. It's a close game. and come in and just with 100% reliability make those free throws. Now, you're probably going to have guys in your starting lineup who are really good free throw shooters, like Michael Cooper there. He's a great free throw shooter. He's going to the line. LeBron James. I mean, some people call him LeBrick, but he's good. I don't know exactly what his stats are, but it's probably something like an 85, and that's what most guys have this year. Something, in the mid to high 80s, and those are going to be your best free throw shooters. Michael Jordan last year, I don't remember exactly what his free throw shooting rating was, but it was in the high 80s, I think. And he was a guy that I would always have going to the line, or Mitch Richmond. But there's guys that do an even better job. There's a bronze small forward, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, that has a 99 free throw shooting ability. I mean, that's insane. So, of course, I'm going to put that guy in my lineup because I want him coming in at the end of the game to get those clutch free throws. I'm going to give him the ball. Another guy who was gold last year but now is silver is Chris Jackson or Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf. And if you get him, he's got, I think, the highest free throw percentage in like NBA history. Or if that's not the exact stat, it's something for like a period of time. He's a tremendous free throw shooter, one of the best in the game, highly reliable. So that would be a different type of role player. So we covered the 4 different types: the defensive guy, the rebounder, the athlete, and the free throw shooter. Other people than that you would want to put on the court, I mean, they should probably just be backups or, better yet, in your starting lineup if you've got someone that's really good. So when you put your bench together, put something together that makes sense. Don't just pick the best available players. So while I may, have LeBron and Melo backing him up, they're 2 totally different play styles. Although this year they're much more similar with LeBron's improved three-point shot. I would say that you would play with both those players differently. So I have to consciously change the way I play when my bench players come in. And what I'd like to do is have a little bit of commonality between the starter and the backup. So when I bring somebody off the bench, I can have, somebody that has a similar play style. So Kyrie and CP3 have a fairly similar play style. I think CP3 may not have as good a three-point shot, but for the most part, they're very athletic and highly skilled point guards. And that's why I like switching them in and out. You don't really notice much of a difference when one's in the game versus the other. But always use those last 2 spots if you're not doing full lineup switches for some role players and make them make sense. And I think that will help you get some more wins, especially when you come in a close game just like this one. I've got my starters on the court right now, but it's a close game. I'm down. I'm having a lot of difficulty against this team that's been back and forth with me. I mean, they're bronze. They're much lower rated, so there's really no reason why I shouldn't have a huge lead coming in this game. And it's frustrating. So I'm going to let my fourth quarter man, LeBron, take the ball on the inbound, and I'm going to bull rush to the hoop and get this back to a 1-point game. With a minute left, the strategy becomes really important. So do the substitutions, especially with the fact that you can call a timeout on each end. If you know that he's going to call a timeout for his offensive possession and you have a couple of timeouts to burn, it may make sense to go with a pure defensive lineup. And by doing that, it improves your chances of getting a stop and allows you to call a timeout to put your offensive players back on the court. So for offense, I've got Carmelo Anthony off the bench, who's on the court now trying to make a difference. But we leave the paint wide open. His point guard's going to run right in there for the easy score. But look at Bill Russell running down there. He's wide open. So it's a tight game, and I'm going to need to create some issues here. With less than 24 seconds left, I'm going to have to foul, send him to the free throw line, and make this a free throw shooting game. I need to get the ball back. I don't need to score a three-pointer immediately to get the tie, but I do need to get some points, and I need to get it quickly, which is important. So once this timeout is called, I need to substitute in my offensive players because I'm going to the offensive side of the house, and I need to get some points. So I got some three-point shooters out there. See Melo's back out there. LeBron's at the top of the arc, and it's good. It's a tie game now. I don't need to go foul. I just need a defensive stop. So I can't call a timeout. If I hit that button, it's just going to foul this guy. And he's got a wide open lane to the... I don't know, understand why he didn't try and run. I guess he's trying to play for the last possession and doesn't want to give me an opportunity to score with a three-point shot, which is understandable. So I got Michael Cooper, defensive role player in there. I've got Dwight Howard for defense. He almost backcourt violations off the inbound. Here's the last shot for the win, and it does not go in, so we're taking this to overtime, which means you got to watch a second video, which is coming out tomorrow.